Hey guys, my name is Heather Lindsey.
And my name is Cornelius Lindsey.
And I'm so excited that you landed on Life with the Lindseys.
This is so exciting. This gives us an opportunity to share our life with yours.
Yes, we're going to be talking about everything from entrepreneurship to ministry to your purpose to why you are here, family, parenting, relationships, marriage, sex, you name it. We are talking about it.
So thank you so much for joining us today with Life with the Lindseys. Enjoy it.
Everybody, it's Cornelius.
Hey, y'all. This is Heather, and I'm back.
No, it's been 2 whole weeks you've had me sitting here laboring over this.
You know what? I needed a nice little mini break.
You had me laboring here, and I'm like, oh.
Well, it kind of wasn't my fault, though, babe. My mom got sick.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things happen. It's completely
Right.
fine.
But my mom's better. Thank you guys for your prayers and all that other good stuff. But you have been killing it by yourself, babe. And you've been talking about self-love. And I just want to continue that conversation since I'm finally back in it.
Come on.
So you start.
Okay. Well, you know what? Like, I don't think I mentioned this in the last 2 episodes, but kind of going in the vein of what I wish I would have known before I got married. What I wish somebody would have told me. And that was, I think I was so fixated on what my expectations of you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
That I was so busy, like with the concept of expectations, is that expectations means that you have to live up to something in order for me to accept you, because this is what I expect out of you. And if you don't live up to that expectation, then I don't accept you and I don't love you and I don't want anything to do with you. And so it'd be easy for my mind to say, I'm willing to divorce you because you don't live up to the expectation of what I wanted. I wish somebody would have said to me, take your expectations, and then without Heather having to live up to your expectations, do you still love her? If she never becomes the woman that you expect for her to be, will you still love her? And I think that's a very difficult question.
Oh, it is. That's a very unconditional type of love that a lot of people don't have.
We don't practice that.
Heck no. It's like I'm blocking you. I'm done. Cancel you. I'm finished.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I want to be able to expect this out of you. You know, it's like I have an expectation. And in relationships, I feel like that's really what it is. It's like we tell people, well, you need to have your expectations. And then we talk about the list and having your list and having all that kind of stuff. But it's like, but bruh, like, what if I never live up to that? And I think that oftentimes in relationships, the most strenuous relationships are relationships that are built on this concept that I have to always live up to your expectations. And when I don't, I'm vilified. I'm hated. Like, you don't love me anymore. You don't want to be with me anymore because somehow I didn't turn out to be your knight in shining armor, because somehow I didn't turn out to be the man that you always wanted me to be, that somehow I did not turn out to be the protector that you always wanted. This is what you expected, or this is what you dreamed of as a little girl. This is when you saw the movies and you saw the man, hoisting her up in the rain and carrying her inside of the house and throwing her on the couch. And, they're sitting there, they're watching movies together right by the fireplace. And these are the expectations you had. You get married, you don't have that. You look at your spouse and you're like, you're not living up to my expectation. So I don't know if I love you anymore.
Wow. That's a lot of people. I think that's why a lot of people get divorced, because they feel like we grew apart.
Yeah.
And if we can keep it real, if we go way, way back, even to the dating stage, I feel like a lot of people would not get into relationship with certain people because they are dating them based on their dysfunction and how they see themselves.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't have any standards. I don't love myself. I don't feel good about myself. So I'm going to get into this relationship because I would rather be in this relationship than be single and work on myself. So I'm going to get into this relationship, and then I'm going to, oops, we got pregnant. Oops, we're getting married. And now 10 years down the line, you guys are all of a sudden growing apart because, first of all, you never loved yourself in the first place. And then you're putting all these expectations on this person.
Yeah. And I also want to challenge what you just said, in the sense that because I was having this conversation with somebody else, and that thing came up, that phrase came up, and it was about growing apart.
Yeah.
And I think the question comes in, in a relationship, are two people actually growing apart? Or is it that they awaken to realize that we were never together in the first place? Because now I can't lie to myself that you are always the person that I wanted. Like, and I think, okay, in Exodus, it talks about, or it talks to the 10 Commandments. It's interesting because out of the 10 Commandments, the one we're looking at here is the one, thou shalt not lie.
Yeah.
I believe we lie more to ourselves than we do to other people. So then you get into a relationship and there are certain things that you're willing to continue to lie to yourself about just so it's almost like, well, I'm gonna just keep lying to myself to keep moving forward. So then you get 20 years down the road, you look at your spouse and you're like, I've kind of grown apart from you. When in actuality, I don't know if you necessarily grew apart or if you just stopped lying to yourself.
I think that's a good way to look at it. But I truly believe that some people get married and they really think they're on the same page. They like the same things. They love each other. But then they have kids and then they, get busy with work. And then they're working 9 hours over here and she's working 9 hours over here. And the kids are here and she's putting all her attention into the kids and he's not getting attention anymore. So now he's hanging out with his buddies. So now they're living two separate lives. I feel like at some point, maybe they were on the same page. Maybe they were on this journey and then life began to happen and they didn't make their marriage a priority.
Yeah.
And then they feel like, oh, we grew apart.
But those things were always dormant within them.
Yeah.
Like they as individuals may not have changed. The dynamic of the relationship changed. But just because the dynamic of a relationship changes does not mean the love has to change.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I, we had a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, we know people now who have long distance relationships. The love doesn't change just because the dynamic of the relationship changes. Like if you love somebody, then you love them. Like you have I mean, just like this is my love I have for you. So whether or not, now because the kids are here, whether or not we choose to put each other first or not, it's like at some point the love is still there. And now this is the dynamic of our relationship. Now we seek to work out the dynamic of our relationship. But I can still remember, I talk to older couples, older men who are married, and they're just like, well, I'm getting a divorce. I'm like, why are you getting a divorce? They're like, well, the kids are out of the house now and we're looking at each other. We don't know each other anymore.
Yeah.
And I asked one guy, I said, so what I asked him? I said, so why did you marry her?
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I don't remember.
That's crazy.
He said, I don't remember. He was like, I don't remember why I married her. And I said, well, if you can go back now, would you have married her? And he was like, no. And I was like, so was it something that you saw in your marriage that you noticed that, I should not have married her? And I was like, did this miraculous thing, this thing happen in your marriage that just said, now you need to divorce her? And this thing was like, no, just over time. And that's where the phrase came in. I felt like we started to grow apart.
Yeah.
And he brought up what you said. He's like, well, because I was always working and I was on the road and I was doing this. She was with the kids. The dynamic of the relationship changed, but the love that I still have for you, that's the thing. Like that should be the cornerstone.
Yeah.
That's the foundation.
That should work through every single situation, every test, every trial. The fact that you love each other should be what you work through together. I agree, babe. I don't know. I still believe that some couples, maybe they are lying to themselves. Maybe they never liked each other and they got together for the wrong reasons and the wrong motives. And now 10 years later, they can't fake the funk anymore. And they realize, hey, we grew apart, or I never liked you anyways, or I never was attracted to you anyways, or I married you for this reason. You know what I mean?
And even with that, I think the majority of the couples who look and they say things like, I was never attracted to you. I never wanted you. I never wanted all these things.
Yeah.
Well, that can be true for some couples. I even think that is them lying to themselves. Because maybe they found something else. I don't see, you put so much energy. You put so much energy in getting with somebody.
Yeah.
You put all this into, a wedding, and you did all these things because you were so in love. And you were all these things. So you got to ask yourself the question, were you lying to yourself then, or are you lying to yourself now? Because back then you believed it. Back then, it was a part of you.
There was something about that person that made you walk down that aisle.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
And if there's love there, then it continues to reach towards that. And I believe that that's the reason why a lot of our relationships are like the way it is with God. Yeah. Because we get to a certain point, we almost feel like we kind of outgrow him. And now I no longer need that relationship I need to have with him. You remember the first time, remember when you first learned about God, you first got saved. It's like, man, it's like the joy of my salvation. I'm so excited. You're so zealous. But then it's like, I've been going to church for about 5 years, 10 years. And okay, this is getting old. And God, okay, we're just kind of doing the same old routine thing over and over again. And I don't know if I want you anymore. So I'm going to start trying some other stuff. I'm going to start trying some new age stuff. And I'm going to start trying all this other kind of stuff. because it just seems like you're getting stale. And I think that every relationship hits that point where it's like, you know what? Do I still want this? Then you had to go back to the whole thing of, I'm not going to lie to myself, but I'm also not going to forget why I did this in the first place. I did this for a reason. I got married for a purpose. And I need to go back to that place. If I need to revisit that place to determine why, but I got to do that because this idea of just kind of breaking up and starting over because something else is exciting I think even then we're kind of lying to ourselves, that quarter and midlife crisis.
The thing is, the same us is going to exist in that new marriage, in that new relationship. And for us to think that other people are responsible for our happiness, I feel like it's going to put us right back in the situation that you just left, right? Mm-hmm. So if you keep jumping from person to person, looking for some value, some affirmation, I think we have to be honest with ourselves and say, I don't love me.
Yeah.
I don't love myself. I don't know myself. What do I like?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I like. So people always say, you know, how can I prepare to be a wife, Heather? What do I need to do? And, you know, what dating apps do I need to go on? Before you even do any of that, just take a moment to your own self and learn to love you. Do you love you?
Yeah.
What unresolved trauma and stuff do you have in your own heart that you're going to drag into your next relationship? And you're going to blame them and say, oh, you don't make me happy, so I'm done with you, on to the next one. I used to do that. I would get into relationships before you when I was single, and I would look to see if this person could make me happy.
Yeah.
If you can make me happy, I will stay. I will continue to date you. But when you piss me off, I am done. If I feel like you're disrespectful, I am done. If I feel like you're dishonest, I am done. I am done. It's like I was just so ready to throw away every relationship that I had. But I didn't need to be in a relationship because I didn't love Heather.
Yeah.
I had so much rejection and abandonment on the inside of me. And I was looking at these guys to be my savior. Fix me. Tell me I'm pretty. Tell me I'm enough. And I use relationships as idols. Mm-hmm. Right. And I went through this cycle over and over again. And I had to start going on this journey that's when I started my man fast. And I had to realize that I have made relationships an idol and I don't even love myself. So I can't properly love somebody else if I don't love who God has made me to be.
Yeah. I wish we can wake up as a people. We can wake up, a collective body. We can wake up to that truth of the reason why our relationships are like they are is not because of the other person. It's because of the trauma that's in ourselves.
That's deep. That's deep.
And because the way we look at it now is my relationship is the problem right now because of my spouse or because of this person or that person. We don't realize it is because of our own dysfunction that we chose the dysfunction that came in.
Isn't that crazy?
That's what drew the dysfunction. I mean, what's the word? It's almost like you just began to think about, or you began to, you bonded over your own trauma and you didn't even realize it was so subconscious. And that's Absolutely. When you started lying to yourself. And you're just like, well, no, this could work. This could work. And that could,
I just want to be loved.
I just want to be loved. Yeah. And this person tells me all the things I want to hear right now.
Yeah.
Because it's new and it's fresh.
Or
and
I'm
it's
40.
Exciting.
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
So I have to.
So I'm willing to accept kind of whatever.
Exactly.
But I look out at the world today and I think of just the people who don't love themselves.
No.
And since they don't love themselves, they hate everybody and everything else.
Absolutely. I love the word of God. It says that out of our heart flows the issues of life. And it's like, if you hate other people, it's what's flowing out of you. If you're a good tree, then you're going to have good fruit on your tree, mm-hmm. right? You can't have bad fruit on a good tree. And so you have to even ask yourself, what's the foundation of my tree? If I'm hateful, if I'm mean, if you find yourself creating fake profiles to tear people down, if you're doing different things, if you're going on celebrities' pages to drag them and you're just canceling everybody, you hate everybody. The thing is that's what's flowing out of your heart. Yeah. You have to ask yourself, what was planted in my heart?
Rejection.
Exactly. So because I've been rejected by other people, I'm going to reject others because that's what's in me. It's in my heart to be hateful. It's in my heart to be mean. It's in my heart to tear down others. It's not in your heart to love because it's not in there. Yeah. Right.
And I think you don't have the capacity for it.
You don't have the capacity to love. And that's why you don't understand why people are happy. You don't understand why people have good marriages. You don't understand why people aren't in dysfunction and conflict and drama every day. It's because that's not in their heart. It's not in their heart to have conflict. You know what I mean? So I think being honest with ourselves is a good step for this generation, especially a generation that's very vocal in what they think they want. And I feel like a lot of people are loud and just wrong.
Yeah. I mean, loud, mad, and wrong. And it is very, very disheartening. But we're going to take a break real quick. And after we come back, I want to share kind of a personal thing from me about just taking this journey for myself and how this journey has really impacted me. So we're going to take a break real quick.
Okay. So the other day I look over at my husband and I'm making dinner and I'm like, babe, will you go grab Roman? You're like, hold on, I'm playing Best Fiends.
Absolutely.
And he's like, I have to win this round. I'm like, what is happening? You love this game, babe.
I do. It keeps my brain active and it helps me to relax. It helps me to calm down. I mean, and it helps me to be a better father and a better husband. You
and Logan, our 7-year-old, play it too.
Absolutely. And he loves it. And I think it makes it a little competitive between the two of us. But the game itself, I mean, I love how it gets challenging. I love how I can have an opportunity it's strategic.
Yeah.
And I like games that are strategic because it helps me to solve the puzzles in a different way. It helps my mind to think. I love the game. It's unique. It's exciting. It's unlike any other puzzle game that's out there. I love it that it updates the game monthly with new levels and events, so it really never gets old. Like right now,
I love it.
I'm winning all these lays and these what's the flower thing that goes around? There's a lay. The lay.
Yeah, lay.
And I'm winning all of these things. It's really amazing. I find myself playing in like these random areas and all this kind of things throughout the house, really trying to hide from the kids because I love playing it that much. But Best Fiends has thousands of levels already with new levels, events, and characters added every month. It's hours of fun right at your fingertips. You can even play offline, which is what I love. With over 100 million downloads and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a must play.
Yes.
Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. Get it today. Hey, we're back. And
hey.
My wife mentioned something earlier and I wanted to kind of piggyback on it. It's like, having that love for yourself is so important. I've been talking about in the last couple of episodes, but being able to pinpoint in my own life how I never felt like I was enough. And I honestly think that out of the 5 love languages, the reason why I was drawn so much to acts of service is because I equate serving other people to feeling like I'm needed and I'm wanted. Even if they don't say anything, even if they don't say you're wanted or you're needed, it's like if I'm busy about serving them, then I feel like, okay, you must, I'm wanted now. You need me in your life.
Yeah.
And so I have to deal with this in my own heart.
Yeah.
First to know that I'm needed and I'm wanted. And here's the thing, I'm wanted even if I don't live up to your expectations. I'm needed and I'm wanted and I'm loved even if somebody else doesn't love me. I'm wanted, needed, and loved. But first off, I'm needed, I'm wanted, I'm loved by God.
That's good.
And that is one of the most difficult messages for me to receive. Because if I never achieve anything else in my life, God still loves me.
Come on.
He still needs me and he still wants me.
Yeah.
Like, I think religion pushes us in this direction that says, okay, God has all these expectations.
Yeah.
And if you don't meet the expectations, you're bad.
Yeah.
And you're going to hell. And you're going to push you so far to hell. And I got to seek him every day because if I don't, I won't hear his voice. But if you go through the scriptures, Moses wasn't out seeking for God when God spoke to him. First time. Abram wasn't going
about that the other day too.
Abram wasn't going out seeking God when God spoke to him. God's like, hey, Abram, I want you to leave your father's house. Samuel was asleep and God woke him up from his sleep.
Come on.
It's like we think that God gave us all these expectations and we're like, did I miss God? Did I miss God? Because I didn't go to church last week or I wasn't praying. Oh my God, I didn't do an hour of prayer. And maybe God was supposed to be speaking to me. And maybe God got Samuel on a road to Damascus. This man was going to kill Christians.
Yeah.
And God's like, I'll get your attention.
He knows how to get our attention.
He knows our expectations, even for God, causes us to feel unloved and to feel unwanted and to feel unneeded. I feel like religion has caused more of a problem in our society than anything else because it builds upon expectations that puts us down and says, God will never love you. he doesn't care about you. He wants nothing to do with you.
You know why we do that, right? Because of our own unresolved trauma of being
Absolutely.
rejected by other people. You were rejected by your daddy, your teacher, your friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. So now you take that image and you place it on God.
Yeah.
And you say, God is like man.
Yeah.
So because I was hurt by all these people, that means God's going to hurt me too. And I want nothing to do with him unless I'm in good works with him.
Yeah.
Meaning like if I prayed enough, and so now we go to God, like, all right, like this, it's like we're at Target, like it's an exchange. Like, okay, if I'm going to pray, you're going to bless me today. But what happens if you don't get that blessing? What happens if that prayer doesn't get answered? Then it makes our relationship with God transactional only, right? And that's not how he works. He's not a genie in the bottle trying to hey, I'm going to bless you today because you prayed today. When we go to God to pray, it's to fellowship with him, to spend time with him because we love him.
Yeah.
That has to be our foundation. I love spending time with you, babe, because you're my husband. And it's not like, okay, I'm trying to spend time with my husband today because I want him to say I'm a good wife. No, it's because I love you and I love to be around you. And I feel like we have to take on that mindset as well with the Lord. It's like when you spend time with him, it's because you love him and you miss him and you want to fellowship with him and you want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to switch, but I was just thinking about this as you were talking, but I realized that our marriage changed when I let go of my expectations in the sense of my husband is not responsible for my happiness.
Right.
Like you are a great man, but you make a terrible God. You know what I mean? And I was looking to you to, okay, make me happy. I took the love language book and I threw it at your tail. And I'm like, I literally throw it at you, but I'm throwing at you like, you know, my love language is you need to perform. You need to perform. And if you aren't performing enough, I'm going to nag you and let you know that you're not performing. I need you to pick that up, you know? And I felt like it just brought so much stress and drama into our marriage. But when I let go of that and I said, you know what, Lord, I'm going to serve my husband as unto you because I love you, God. And I love my husband, no strings attached. There's no strings attached. So if he touches me, great. If he doesn't, great. I'm still going to put my hope in you, Lord, and not in my marriage and not my husband.
I think that, I mean, when you let go of those expectations, and here's the crazy thing, our expectations will never be fulfilled because the flesh is never satisfied.
Oh, no. It always wants more.
It always wants more.
Yeah.
It's always like, I can never touch you enough. You can never serve me enough. We can never, it's like, it'll never be enough.
That's real.
Never get to a place where it's enough. And that's the danger of expectations. Then the expectation, it breeds frustration. Then the frustration, it breeds disappointment. And then we silently harbor this resentment on the inside of us towards our spouse, towards our friend, towards our partner. And we're housing this resentment, and we're housing it, and we're mad, and we're angry. And the person doesn't even know it, but it's like, you didn't meet my expectation. And I thought you would do this. And I thought you were going to be a better woman. I thought you were going to be intelligent. I thought you were going to be upwardly mobile. I thought you were going to be thinking about ways we can make money. I want to be an entrepreneur like this couple. I thought we were going to do it like this. I had an expectation we're getting married like this. I had an expectation we're going to get married in 7 years. Or that, now we've been dating for 9 years and we should be together. I had an expectation we're going to do this. I had an expectation that you already written your book by now. I had an expectation that you would have a better job. I had an expectation we'd be living out of our apartment. I had an expectation. And all these expectations are doing nothing else but revealing the issues of your own heart.
That's real.
Because I had to get serious to myself and answer the question, okay, am I going to love my wife because I love God? Am I going to love my wife because I should love her? Or am I going to love my wife because I love myself enough to know that I need to also love my wife? But I want my love for my wife to come out of my love for myself. I love myself to know that my wife, that it's not just that my wife deserves my love because I love me. It's the fact that I deserve to love my wife.
That's good, babe.
So it's like, it's so difficult because the world teaches expectations.
They do.
The world teaches it.
Have your list. If they don't mark everything on your list, then that ain't it. Let it go.
Get your expectations out there. And I in the past, I've even taught it to the point. It's like, well, what are your expectations? Put your expectations down. Build on a part that I still believe in. Put your expectations out there. Let people know what your expectations are. But if you live on your expectations, you're setting yourself up for failure.
What about the person that's listening that's saying, well, I have an expectation in marriage that my spouse will remain faithful to me, and they're having a hard time doing that? I believe that there's certain expectations that you should have in marriage, right? Like I have expectation that like your husband's not going to cheat or your wife's not going to cheat, right?
I mean, you can have what kind of expectations you want. This is not a blanket thing to say that you can't have what you want, but at any point of a relationship, I think whatever expectation that you put on, what I'm saying is you're going to set yourself up for frustration. you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. You're going to set yourself up for it. This is not me saying that this has to be a law and saying you don't have to have any expectations whatsoever. You can have whatever kind of expectations you want. But the rule of thumb here is that whatever expectation you have, you're going to set yourself up for frustration and set yourself up for disappointment. You can have an expectation. We can all have expectations. Even as hard as I try not to have expectations for you, I still find myself being like, well, I was expecting this and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, but even then I have to continue to check my heart. It's like, okay, what am I expecting out of this? What am I trying to get out of this? So I think that that's important for people to understand. You can have what kind of expectation you want, but the expectation is going to help to breed frustration. It's going to ultimately help to breed disappointment.
But shouldn't we have foundational things in our relationships though?
You can, I say it again, you can have whatever kind of expectation you want.
But you'll still be
But expectation is going to it does not matter what kind of expectation you have.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of expectation you have. Because the expectation here, if we can be honest, the expectation here is that your spouse, your friend, your employer, your employee, whatever relationship you have, that person is going to be perfect. And there is no perfect person.
Right.
So it's like, you didn't meet my expectation. Well, doggone it, it's 10. The one expectation I didn't meet for you, you didn't meet 10 of mine. So you're putting in if I can sum it up like this, you're putting an expectation on a flawed being.
I agree, babe, but I still believe that I think, okay, for example, with us in our marriage, our expectations of each other, we're going to come home. You know what I mean? What about couples, maybe, his wife has to come home in 5 days.
Listen, have whatever kind of expectation you want. I'm not saying you can't have expectations. I don't think anybody's saying you have expectations. Only thing is, on the 5th day when his wife didn't come home, there's disappointment and there's frustration.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't have an expectation your spouse doesn't come home. the expectation is that I'm home every day, no matter where I'm at, by 5:00 p.m. That's the expectation. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying you can't have that expectation, but if I come home at 6, you're frustrated and you're disappointed.
Right.
All I'm saying here is, and all the reason I'm saying this is for your heart, is for the person's heart who has the expectation. I don't care what the expectation is.
Yeah.
You're going to set yourself up for frustration and disappointment, because ultimately the only person or the only one who can be perfect in an expectation is a perfect person.
Right.
We're all flawed.
Yeah.
So have an expectation. Your spouse should come home every single day. Put it out there. All I'm saying is you're going to set yourself up for frustration and disappointment, because what if that flawed being goes out there and gets drunk and then doesn't come home until the next day? You set yourself up for frustration, disappointment. Have it. Well, all I'm saying here is the rule of thumb does not leave. It's still there. You're still going to be frustrated. You're still going to be disappointed.
I think the picture that some people are thinking because I'm a feeler, are thinking I'm just going to go through life without having expectations for anybody. I'm going to get ran over, cheated on, lied to, and hurt.
But, okay. Again, have whatever kind of expectation you want to have.
You keep saying the same thing.
But it's a fact. You having whatever kind.
Should there be an action after that? Maybe I'm wording it wrong. Should there be an action after there's a lot of expectations that are not met?
And then that's where it comes in, because ultimately expectation is going to breed frustration, which is going to breed disappointment, which then breeds a reaction, not an action.
Yeah.
It's going to breed a reaction.
Absolutely.
So divorce becomes a reaction to the frustration, to the disappointment that I had because I was frustrated with you because you didn't meet my expectation.
Yeah.
So that becomes a reaction. So, me, keying your car becomes a reaction to the disappointment I had in you because I was frustrated because you didn't meet my expectation. It becomes a reaction. So you can have whatever kind of expectation you have, but the expectation is going to ultimately breed frustration. It's going to breed disappointment. It's going to ultimately breed a reaction. Have your expectation. Just know the rule of thumb. Yeah. It's okay, and then going back to your question, I'm going through life. I want to live a life where I don't have expectations for people.
Yeah. Amen.
Where I can honestly say that I love them genuinely.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you meet my expectation, I still love you. If you don't meet my expectation, I still love you. Because when I look at the life of Jesus, let's take the Father, for instance.
Okay.
He has no expectation that we're going to love him first.
Right, because he does for us.
That's why he loved us first.
Absolutely.
I loved you before you ever loved me.
Yeah.
He has no expectation that we can save ourselves. Reason why he sent Jesus Christ on to die on the cross for our sins. He has no expectation that we can do anything of great value that can add to him, which is why he enabled us with different gifts and enabled us with different fruit. he already understands the concept of expectations.
Yeah.
That the Bible tells us to be joyful, to be thankful, to be gleeful. But the reason why the Bible tells us that and gives us those things is because he knows that those things are not going to be naturally innate within us.
Yeah.
To just be grateful. So now there's a reaction. The breaking of the law is a reaction to ultimately breaking an expectation. The 10 Commandments ain't nothing more than an expectation. Jesus came and summed it up. He says, he says, what are the greatest laws? The greatest law is this. It's to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind.
Yeah.
And to love the neighbor and love your neighbors, you love yourself. In order for me to love my neighbors, I love myself. If I put expectations on my neighbor, I'm setting myself up for failure.
Absolutely.
Because my neighbor is not perfect. And my neighbor is going to disappoint me. My neighbor is going to frustrate me. And my neighbor is going to probably hurt me. But pure, untainted love comes without expectations.
That's good. I think it's hard for people.
It's hard for us because we're flesh.
Right. Because we feel like, there's consequences to you hurting me.
Exactly.
Like if you hurt me, it's going to be consequences.
You want to know why?
Reactions.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because we're great judges we're great attorneys for ourselves. And we're great judges for other people.
Yeah.
That's the reason why in Matthew it says first, before you go judge your brother, you take that mote out of your own eye before you judge the log in your brother's eye.
Yeah.
So what it's saying here is that, hold on, before you go because we want vengeance so bad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're
Definitely.
people like, I want vengeance. I want them to pay. We want everybody to pay until it's our turn.
Oh yeah. And it'll be your turn one day.
We only want mercy. We only want mercy when it's ours.
Yeah.
Because we're selfish.
That's real.
We only want mercy when it's ours, but we don't want to love. When Jesus chose a tax accountant to walk with him,
Yeah.
that was the most hated profession in that town, in that time. He chose a tax accountant, and then he was willing to sit down with people. When the religious elite came and looked at him, they're like, "Why are you sitting with them?" And Jesus is like, "But why wouldn't I?"
Yeah.
He told him, he said, listen, he said, nobody who's sick needs a physician.
Yeah.
I'm coming for those who are sick. The only problem is with you all is that you don't think you're sick.
Yeah.
Vengeance for everybody else because they don't think they deserve it for themselves. But the same cup of wrath they make everybody else drink, they don't realize your cup is still sitting there.
Exactly.
So that's all I'm saying here is put every kind of expectation you want. I get cut off. Hey, we gotta take a break. Then we can come back. Let's take a break. Then we can come back. All right, this is good. We gotta take a break. Then come back. I can put every kind of expectation I want on my neighbor. I go out there, man. People cut me off in traffic. People do all these things, but I have to continuously remind myself, Cornelius, have no expectation for these people. Some of these people are mad. Some of these people are stressed out. Some of these people are angry because of what's going on in the world.
You don't know what shoes they're walking in.
Some of these people are going home to situations that you will never know about.
That's real.
And your expectation is that person should have been perfect, or that person shouldn't have called you, what they called you, boy. Made me angry. That made me upset.
Yeah.
But now my expectation that I expected you to know how to refer to me.
So good.
Then created a reaction. That's all
good.
I'm saying.
I just feel like there'll be a lot less conflict in marriage if you understand this. But how would one even get to this point, babe? Because I feel like this world is so transactional, right? And they have this mindset of entitlement, right? We all do. And we all feel like we deserve to have this, and this. We deserve to be treated this way. We're taught this, right?
Yeah.
So then we come to know who Jesus is and we read about him and we read about how he loves. And we have a hard time even accepting. They're like, oh, that's Jesus. They'd be like, try Jesus, but don't try me because I ain't him. You know what I mean? And so I feel like Christians have that mindset where they're like, oh, I will fight you. I'm not Jesus. I have not developed in love. But how would we even grow to this type of unconditional, amazing, crazy love?
I don't think we really understand it enough to really teach it in its full depth, because I don't think people really accept it. That's not the purest form of love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we all grow and evolve.
And we all,
Yeah.
and I'm definitely not saying that I hate. At that time, I felt like it was the right thing to say. I said what I said.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for what I said at that time. But now I look at who I am today and what I've learned today. Because everybody loves to judge you on your past, and no one loves to look at your present. I look at who I am today, and I look at it, and I think to myself, and I say, "There's a problem."
Yeah.
Where, as you mentioned, the world itself is transactional. Do unto me. I'm going to do unto you first before you do it unto me.
That's, yeah.
What happens though in the transaction is that what people don't realize is that the same seed that you've sown, it comes back. And oftentimes it comes back in greater measure than how you sowed it. Because one seed can produce a tree that has many apples.
Yeah.
And you'll be eating from the fruit. You'll be eating from the sour fruit.
From the poison.
From the poisonous fruit that you planted.
Yeah. That's right.
But love says, even though you planted that against me, I still love you. And I pray for mercy for you. I pray for grace for you.
That's a different type of love that this world is like.
That's the type of love Jesus teaches us.
Christianity, but people pick and choose. They're like, no, I'm not going to receive that part. I wrote down some notes, but I couldn't even read them because you were preaching so good. And I was like, dang, what was that? But you can keep going, babe. Sorry.
No, but that's the kind of love that the Bible teaches.
That's so good.
We don't want to accept that. We don't want to accept that type
People's
of love.
flesh don't want to accept that.
And that's, you know what? And that's
they're
okay.
afraid. It's a fear.
But fear is the foundation. Like people always talk about, hate being the opposite of love. This is not a love versus hate. This is a love versus fear. Because hatred is born out of fear.
Absolutely.
Anger is born out of fear. Whenever somebody gets angry, you look and you say, what are you afraid of? Well, I'm angry right now. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid that I won't be seen, or I'm afraid that this person is going to hurt me. I'm afraid this person is going to leave me, or I'm afraid that this person is trying to get over on me. I'm afraid that this person, if you can identify the fear, you'll identify the anger. Then you can deal with the anger before you now, as the Bible says, that it's okay to be angry, but sin not, before you get to the reaction. Because now I'm fearful. Then I sprout out with a tree of anger, and now I react. And now I've done something that I should not have done out of reaction. And now we have a bunch of people in the world who are reacting.
But
they're afraid. Because if you really listen to people and you listen, they say, I'm so afraid. I'm afraid. Yeah. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of coronavirus. I'm afraid. I'm afraid that some people say, I'm afraid because I'm afraid to get stopped by the police. I'm afraid they're going to kill me. I'm afraid they're going to kill my son. Yeah. I'm afraid if my son goes running and he's going to die. I'm afraid to go out in my community. I'm afraid to live in my city.
I'm going to lose my job.
I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job. I'm afraid if I say something. I've met so many white people who are so afraid to say anything nowadays because they feel like if I say this, I'm going to get vilified. If I say that, I'm going to get vilified.
They took a clip of our podcast and was running with it.
Yeah, that's what people do.
It wasn't even in proper context.
But and you know what? Even with all of that stuff, it's like you have to realize where people are in their minds today.
Broken.
But see, that's where love has to come in.
Yeah.
That you got to look at them differently.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus was beat and everybody around him left him.
Literally, it said, and everybody betrayed him. And you know what his response was as he was on that cross? Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
But let's do the timeline here. They abandoned him. Mm-hmm. So first they sentence him to crucifixion. They abandon him. All these kind of things. All these things happen to him, and then they go through all of this stuff. And as they go through this, he gets to this point where Jesus is like, he's beaten, he's beaten, he's whipped, all these kind of things happen to him. And then, a crown of thorns rammed into his head.
Yeah.
And then he gets to a point and he gets on the cross. He's nailed to the cross. I mean, could you imagine the pain he's already endured?
Oh, yeah.
And he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Here's the crazy thing. Jesus endured all the pain, even for the people who was beating him. That's the type of sacrifice and the type of love that we in our flesh cannot imagine.
Let's rewind a little bit. If you read the scripture with Judas, when Judas was coming, Jesus said, friend. He greeted him with friend. He knew he was about to turn him in, and he greeted him with friend. He knew what he did. He knew he was going to betray him. He even washed his feet at the Last Supper. Think about it. Would you wash the feet of the person that wants to kill you right before you about to die? This world can't even comprehend that. Now, my question to you, babe, what I was thinking as we were talking is, I feel like people are like, okay, I hear y'all. I'm going to try to practice this kind of love. I'm not going to have expectations. I'm going to, because I believe some people need to grow in this and understand it, right? Mm-hmm. But I got hurt. I got hurt in the midst of not having expectations. because we're still flesh. We still feel, right? So I let go of all my expectations. And then I got hurt by my spouse, or I got hurt by my friend really bad. I got hurt by my child. I got hurt by a brother. Like I got burned. What is our response when we get hurt really bad?
So the hurt came. So you can't put them both in the same sentence. You can't say I had no expectations, but I got hurt.
Okay, let me
because it was the expectation that you had that caused the hurt.
Okay, tell me this. A woman might have an expectation, she's married, that her husband will remain married to her. They have a good marriage. They're happy. They've had bumps. Everybody does in marriage, right? But he comes home one day and says, I don't want to be married to you anymore. Here's the divorce papers. I'm gone. She had no expectations, but now her husband's divorcing her. So what is her response?
What is she? I mean, how can she control this grown man who wants to leave?
You can't.
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, yeah. Now, does that mean she won't be hurt? She's human.
Absolutely.
She's going to feel every emotion.
But the Lord will be with her through it.
And but here's the thing: she's going to feel every emotion that goes through it. But she can't stop this grown man because, again, she can. And you're the reason why we fight so hard to have expectations is because we as humans, we demand control.
Oh yeah, we love control.
Expectations gives us control. And you want to know what control is? An illusion.
Yeah, that's true.
Because as soon as you think you're in control of something, you quickly determine you're not.
It's real.
Control is an illusion.
That's right.
And we want control so bad. But control is all an illusion.
But what is it birthed in? It's birthed in fear because I'm afraid that you're going to hurt me. So as long as I'm controlling the situation.
And it's not controlling the situation, controlling you.
Right. The person or the situation, the job, the project, whatever, then I feel safe as long as I am in control of what is happening. So if we get to the honest root to what's going on the inside of you, it's fear.
Yeah.
You're afraid because maybe you and your father didn't have a good relationship and maybe you were abused or maybe something happened along the way. And that's why we always talk about this, but it's so important that you go back to those moments and you unpack and you figure out why this happened and maybe accept it, speak to that little girl that got hurt and abused, like go back to that place, bleed, unpack, rent out that house, get therapy, get help, go through your process. I feel like this generation is so quick to hustle. Let's move past it. But even the traumatic things that have been happening the past 6 months, are we unpacking and living here and feeling the emotions? Or are we suppressing and moving forward? I need to start this business. I need to do this. Are you unpacking? Because I feel like we're going to see a harvest from this season years down the line. Yeah. And I feel like it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And, it's hard for people to hear that because they think, I got to sit and unpack these emotions because people don't, the one of the scariest places for people to be is by themselves.
It's so good.
Because when you're by yourself, especially when you're in a room and you got a mirror.
It's beautiful.
Because when it forces you to look at you and you ain't got nobody else to blame but yourself. Like when you're single, you're sitting at the house by yourself, you ain't got if it's dirty, you ain't got nobody else to blame but you.
Yeah.
Because that's just how you are. But then when you get married, you can be dirty. Yeah. But now your dirty is somehow blended in with their clean. So you assume that you're better than you are. But if you were single, you'd know just how dirty you were. Right. But then you start to assume that your spouse is so bad. Yeah. But in actuality, your spouse is really just as bad as you are. Yes, she's going to feel hurt. Going back to your example, yes, she's going to feel hurt. Yes, she's going to feel pain. Yeah. Yes, she's going to feel it all. But going back to the point, she can put every expectation she has on him. That's a grown man.
Let birdie fly, honey.
As much as she wants to control, and see, we tell people that. But here's the thing: she only got hurt because she had an expectation, not an expectation that the man needed to come home, but an expectation that this man was somehow perfect and was going to be her God.
Babe, I don't even think that's it, because I know women that I've counseled and worked with that their husband left and they had no clue. And you know what? They supported, they loved, they cooked, they did everything.
But that doesn't mean anything. Because men are animalistic. Right. People are animalistic.
But she still is going to feel, right?
Yeah, she's going to feel.
She's going to feel, and she had expectations that she would stay married till death do us part.
Absolutely.
And I believe that we should stay committed to our vows, right? As much as we can.
Yeah, hey, that is here. I'm not saying that you can't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you won't. But what I'm saying here is that expectations, when placed on flawed, imperfect people, is going to ultimately produce a sense of frustration. It's going to produce disappointment. It's going to produce a reaction.
I was just referring to what you said about the girl who's now disappointed because her husband left.
She's disappointed because her husband.
But I feel like she has a right to be disappointed.
I'm not saying she have a right to be disappointed, but the only reason why she's disappointed and she's hurt in the depth that she is because she had an expectation that somehow this flawed man was just going to stay with her forever. That was her expectation.
So we should all have an expectation that our spouses are going to leave us.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Because again, you want to control it.
Yeah.
I know you personally. You like control.
You know I do.
Baby,
I'm working on it.
You like control. And but again, like even the way you said it, you said, well, you know what? What's she supposed to do? She's just supposed to have an expectation that he gonna leave her. No, it's like whatever happened to saying I don't have an expectation at all.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what Jesus says? I think we're gonna take one more break. We got to come back, right? Take one more break. We'll take one more break, and I'll say that after this. Okay. Take one more break. Isn't that what the Bible says? When the Bible says, take no thought for tomorrow, for tomorrow has its own cares and concerns of its own. But we all already got expectations of what tomorrow's going to be like.
Absolutely.
God, we already thought about next month. We down the street, round the corner. We got the next, people got the next 10 years already planned out. And then we go through the Bible.
I'm a big planner. You know that, baby.
We'll find a scripture in the Bible that says, like we'll go to, Habakkuk 2 and 2. We'll say, write the vision, make it plain.
But that was towards judgment.
That ain't got nothing to do with all that. That's completely different dispensation. But praise the Lord, that's what we want over there. The problem is that we want control so bad, and even God says you only got hurt because your expectation was that you're supposed to be married by 25.
Yeah.
And so now you're willing to accept anything and devalue yourself just so you can fulfill your own sense of control.
Yeah.
And baby girl, brother, it's an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an illusion.
I think that control part is real because especially if you're Enneagram 1 like me, you love structure and you want everything to be perfect. And like even, I'm traveling right this week and I'm like, all right, I have an expectation that my flight is not going to be delayed. And that it's going to be on time and that people around me aren't going to be coughing. Like you have an expectation, right? And to constantly I feel like it's going to take a lot to renew my mind.
Absolutely.
Just talk about me, to renew my mind and let go of expectations of, American Airlines or Delta or Donald Trump or, you know what I mean? Or my marriage, just different things like peeling back the layers and saying, you know what?
What am I afraid of?
Absolutely.
What am I afraid of?
Right. I'm afraid of not getting to my speaking engagement on time. You know what I mean?
But let's just say, what if you don't get there on time? It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were recording something we were recording something and I was sitting on the couch with other people and we were speaking and I was sitting there and I was like, well, I really have to go to the bathroom. And the expectation is, well, you sit there and you finish, you wait till it's done. And I was like, in the middle of it, we were recording. I said, well, I had to go to the bathroom, y'all. I got up and I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Everybody else around me was like, are you doing this right now while we're recording? Are you doing this? And I was like, yeah. So I got to the point of realizing that what is the expectation here? Or whose expectation am I living by? Am I living by everybody else's expectation that says that I need to be professional enough to wait? I got to pee and my body is telling me what I have to do. And I'm not going to put my body on hold just because I'm in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So if I got to get up and go pee, I'm going to get up and go pee because that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not telling people not to have expectations. All I'm saying is that expectations are going to produce something on the inside of people.
Absolutely.
That ultimately on the other side of it is going to cause a reaction. That example you gave, she's hurt. I get it. She is confused. She's distracted. She's mad. I mean, she is angry.
Yeah.
But if we go back to it, what was her expectation? And then here's the other thing that caused the trauma. Now her greatest fear came true. And now she's afraid.
To love again. She's afraid because now I'm a single woman or I'm a single mom. Yeah.
And now I'm afraid. And here's what fear does. Fear creates the illusion that God doesn't care.
Because we were hurt by people.
We were hurt by people. Fear creates an illusion that God doesn't care. Not only does God not care, but is God even still here? Is God?
Isn't that crazy?
It's like, but where's God? Fear created the illusion that God does not even care anymore. And that is
because if he did, then why did he let
this happen? God's like,
I ain't let
listen.
I tell you.
I mean, mama did die. What was your expectation? That mama's going to live forever? Like even that, I had to take expectations for myself. I had to take expectations from like even my family being around forever.
Yeah, that's
like, I love my family, but
yeah,
in order for me to be well and have peace in my own heart and freedom in my own heart, I look and say, I can't expect from my parents and for my family to be here forever because I don't have that control. I can't control it.
That's big of you because usually when I go places, like you blow me up. And,
but here's I can control the controllables.
Yeah, that's true.
There are some controllables I can control. Like I believe that control itself is an illusion, but I also believe there are some controllables I can control.
You're just protective of us.
And I believe there are some things I can control. Yeah. Like I can make sure that you always have security with you.
Yeah.
But my thing is, even in doing that, my sense in my flesh, I think I'm controlling a controllable. But even then, who's to say that the security is going to secure? Remember we took that speaking engagement in another country? Yeah. And our security was there. But our security got sick.
I know we all got food poisoning.
Well, I didn't. I was good. I was like, well, who's going with me to the church? And it was like, well, I'll go, but I'm throwing up every 5 minutes. I was like, well, you can't really secure me. So I'm going by myself. I'm my own security. But even then I thought, if something happens, it happens. I can't control that. Yeah. And I'm working now to let go of the control. So y'all, I mean, we've gone on to almost an hour with this. Good. We're gonna stop. We have to come back to this. But if you're in a relationship right now and all you're trying to do is just control everything, you have all these expectations, just think about everything we said. And thank you, baby, for even bringing up like those counter arguments. I think people are thinking that because this is a hard subject
That's
for
why
them
I'm
to
here.
get.
I'm here to make it all make sense. And
for you love control.
Oh, well, thanks, babe.
I mean, you're growing out of, but that's what you.
Oh no, I do. I love it. I love structure, control. Like I like everything to be. All the I's to be dotted, the T's to be crossed. I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. So in my head, control means everybody's good. Everybody's taken care of because I've thought through every situation. Yeah. Until every situation falls apart. In which, that has happened before. And then when it happens, you're like, so what do I do? Exactly. Like homeschool. Praise the Lord. Yeah. I was just saying, like, your nose is so perfect. I could just bite it. I was staring at your nose this whole hour and my nose? Like, you were just like, no expectations. Like, I was like, I'm just going to like get up and go over and like bite it. My nose. Your nose. It's so perfect. Your face is perfect. Praise the Lord. I really appreciate that. I really do. You're so perfect. I really do. I've always tried to figure out in the 13 years I've known you, how you've never had acne. That is true. Like I was like, how does her skin always, when I was like, okay, well, I meet your family. I'm like, well, now I can see why. But also, I'm plant-based, baby. Ain't got nothing to do with that. That's true. I wasn't plant-based. I ain't got acne either, but I just drink a lot of water. That is true. And I eat all the bison and all the elk. Okay. And all the Venice. New subject. I'm just kidding. Hey, I'm vegan plus to the core. So for all the vegans out there, I am strictly vegan. Oh, God. Plus chicken, beef, pork. Sorry to everybody else who doesn't eat pork. I eat bacon. I do have expectation that you won't kiss me after you eat animals, and you do sometimes. So I need to let go of that expectation. Let go of the expectation. If you want to kiss, sorry, you got to get it even when I got meat on my breath. That's the way it goes. That's just the expectation, and we're different, and that's great. It's okay. It's amazing. But hey, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us. Really quick before we close. Oh, you close? Yes, I want to invite you guys to register for the 2020 Pinky Promise Conference. It's actually virtual this year, you guys. Go to pinkypromiseconference.com and pick up your ticket. We got that, pinkypromiseconference.com 2020. Make sure you go. Hey, what's your theme this year? I am not alone. I'm not alone. Because I know a lot of people feel that way. Oh, yeah. Isn't it crazy? Like social media is supposed to make us feel like we're more connected. But I feel like social media has really pulled us further apart. Yeah. Because now we know more about somebody who lives, 12 states from us than we do about the neighbor who's across the street. Preach. That's the word. We've gotten away from writing written letters to sending DMs. I think that really takes apart because you don't really know a person until you really sit down and get to know them. So I agree. I'm so glad you're doing that. Yay. So, babe, Can we continue this? I feel like we should
Continue this
talk about it
conversation?
more. Yeah.
We can. I mean, hey, yo, y'all, if y'all want it, y'all already know what to do.
Yeah, let us
know if you want this.
If you
We can
want to
continue
hear
this
more.
conversation. Keep it going. Hey, y'all, we love y'all so much. God bless you. And catch us next
Make sure you
Friday.
subscribe.
Yeah,
and
make sure you
like
subscribe, share it.
and-
Share with all your family and friends. Be like, yo, this couple's on here talking about some expectations. Be like, yo, I ain't never heard nothing like this in my life. Like, really, really puff it up. Give them all the expectations. No, don't do that because we preaching against that. Just share with them. God bless y'all.
All right, bye.